For over a century, the Coca Cola company has sold us happiness in a bottle.
Why wait for happiness to happen to you when it's something we can just choose to do?
But did you know that they sell around 2.2 billion servings of their products every single day? This means they sell to an average of 1 out of every 4 people on the planet. 200 million plastic bottles are produced, 300 billion liters of water are used, 5 million kilograms of sugar are sold, $160 million in revenue is generated. But behind every sip of this beloved drink lies a creepy story they never wanted you to know. From cocaine and Nazi Germany to murder and environmental devastation, this is the dark truth about how a simple sugar water became one of the most powerful forces on Earth. Coca-Cola spends billions of dollars every year telling you what to think about their product, but they'll never show you what I'm about to reveal. In the next 25 minutes, join me in this journey, discover how a morphine addict's medicine became a global empire, why Coca-Cola was given special treatment during World War II while serving both sides, the real human cost of your favorite drink, from India's water crisis to Colombia's death squads, heavy human cost, water crisis, murder, and how this company managed to turn its biggest mistake into its greatest triumph. This is the story of how one company shaped the modern world, one bottle at a time. Stay glued to your screen to see how a simple sugar water became one of the most powerful forces on Earth as the Downfall Diaries present Coca-Cola's shocking secrets exposed. Warning, this video contains disturbing historical facts that have been verified through multiple sources. Right now, somewhere in the world, over 2 billion servings of Coca-Cola products are being consumed. The company's logo is recognized by 94% of the world's population, more than any other brand in history. But this incredible success wasn't built by simply selling a refreshing drink. Every year, Coca-Cola pours endless billions into advertising, not Coke. Instead, they sell an idea: happiness, harmony, togetherness. This is a masterful distraction from disturbing truths, because behind this carefully crafted image lies a century of controversy, disease, droughts, exploitation, and much worse. From the parched villages of India to the union halls of Colombia, Coca-Cola's pursuit of profit has left a trail of destruction that no amount of marketing can wash away. Today, we're going to peel back the layers of one of the most recognized brands in history. We'll examine how Coke really became a global empire, and at what cost. Because one thing is certain, you don't build an empire selling sugar water by being righteous. The story of Coca-Cola begins in an America that was rapidly changing. The 1880s marked a turning point in medicine. People were growing skeptical of doctors, turning instead to home remedies and patent medicines. This was the golden age of snake oil salesmen. Unregulated tonics and elixirs filled drugstore shelves, promising miracle cures for everything from common colds to cancer. With no FDA oversight, these entrepreneurs could claim whatever benefits they wanted. Among these cure-alls was a French wine called Vin Mariani. Created by Angelo Mariani, this wine-cocaine mixture became a global sensation. Even Pope Leo XIII endorsed it, appearing on promotional posters and awarding it a Vatican gold medal. Enter John Pemberton, a Confederate lieutenant colonel who would change beverage history forever. During the Battle of Columbus in April 1865, Pemberton took a saber wound to the chest. Like many Civil War veterans, he was prescribed morphine for the pain. Now here's what most people don't know about Pemberton. Before the war, he was actually a highly respected pharmacist with a degree from Reformed Medical College of Georgia. He wasn't some quack looking to make a quick buck. He was a legitimate medical professional searching for a solution to his own addiction. In his Atlanta pharmacy, Pemberton experimented with various formulas. His goal? Finding something that could help morphine addicts like himself. When he discovered Vin Mariani, he saw potential for something greater. Pemberton's first creation, French wine coca, combined coca leaf extract, containing cocaine, cola nut extract, containing caffeine, damiana, a supposed aphrodisiac. Wine, the product promised to cure headaches, anxiety, melancholy, and of course, morphine addiction. But in 1886, everything changed. Georgia passed early prohibition legislation, forcing Pemberton to remove the wine from his formula. This crisis led to innovation. He replaced the wine with carbonated water, added massive amounts of sugar to mask the bitter taste, and Coca-Cola was born. Early ads reveal how Pemberton still saw his creation as medicine. They called it a valuable brain tonic and delightful intellectual beverage. One ad claimed it could cure morphine and opium habits and the desire for intoxicants. Now let's address the elephant in the room. Yes, Coca-Cola contained cocaine. Despite the company's later denials, historical records show each serving contained approximately 9 milligrams of cocaine. For context, a typical recreational dose of cocaine is 50 to 75 milligrams. By 1888, Pemberton's health was failing dramatically. The cruel irony, he never overcame his morphine addiction, spending up to $200 a month on the drug, a massive sum in 1888. Desperate for money, he began selling pieces of his company to various partners. In August 1888, John Pemberton died at age 57, poor and still addicted to morphine. He had no idea that the drink he created to cure addiction would itself become one of the most addictive products in human history, not through cocaine, but through something far more powerful: marketing. Before his death, Pemberton sold the last of his rights to Asa Candler for $2,300, about $63,000 in today's money. To put that in perspective, Coca-Cola now makes that much money every 30 seconds. But while Pemberton created the formula, it would take someone else entirely to create the empire. While most saw a simple medicinal drink, Asa Candler saw something different. He saw potential. But Candler's rise to power started with controversy. The exact details of how Candler gained full control of Coca-Cola remain murky. Multiple ownership documents appeared with signatures that later investigations suggested were forged. Conveniently, Candler ordered all early company records burned, a decision that would spark debate for decades. What we know for certain, Pemberton sold rights to multiple people. Several key documents contain questionable signatures. Candler systematically bought out all other claims. By 1891, he declared sole ownership for a total investment of $2,300. But here's where Candler proved his genius. He understood something fundamental about human nature. People don't buy products, they buy feelings. Candler completely abandoned Pemberton's medical marketing. Instead, he launched what would become one of the most aggressive advertising campaigns in history. His first year's advertising budget? $11,000, over $300,000 in today's money. His strategies were revolutionary. First company to use wall murals for advertising, pioneered the use of promotional coupons, created one of the first celebrity endorsement campaigns, developed branded merchandise before it was common, established one of the first corporate sponsorship programs. Candler's real stroke of genius was his distribution method. Rather than selling ready-made drinks, Coca-Cola sold syrup to soda fountains. This meant lower shipping costs, higher profit margins, easier expansion into new territories, quality control through standardized mixing instructions. By 1895, Coca-Cola was being served in every state in America. But then came what Candler thought was a minor decision. In 1899, two lawyers, Benjamin Thomas and Joseph Whitehead, approached Candler about bottling Coca-Cola. Candler considered bottling a fad and gave them the rights for just $1, with no time limit and no provisions for price changes. This decision would cost Coca-Cola billions. By 1909, nearly 400 bottling plants were operating. By 1920, bottled Coke outsold fountain Coke. The company would spend the next 60 years trying to buy back these rights. But Candler's oversight led to another innovation. To distinguish Coca-Cola from imitators, the company created the distinctive contour bottle in 1915, a design so unique it could be recognized by touch alone, even in complete darkness. Candler also created the myth of Coca-Cola's secret formula. He made sure only a handful of employees knew the complete recipe, and he deliberately spread rumors about it. This marketing masterstroke turned a simple soft drink into something mythical. By 1919, Candler had transformed a failed patent medicine into something worth $25 million, equivalent to over $380 million today. But his timing for selling couldn't have been better. Because World War I had shown Coca-Cola something crucial. War could be very, very good for business. And as another global conflict approached, Coca-Cola would prove just how far they'd go to protect their profits. What happened next would transform Coca-Cola from an American success story into something far more controversial. December 1941. As America entered World War II, companies faced strict rationing of sugar and other vital resources. But Coca-Cola, they were about to pull off something extraordinary. Through an intricate lobbying campaign, Coca-Cola convinced the US government of something remarkable, that their sugary drink was essential to winning the war. Here's how they did it. 1. Scientific manipulation. Funded studies claiming Coca-Cola improved soldier alertness, presented data suggesting it boosted troop morale, argued it provided quick energy in combat situations too. Political maneuvering. Placed a Coca-Cola executive on the war production board, developed close relationships with military leaders, contributed to war-related charitable causes. 3. Patriotic marketing. Portrayed Coke as a taste of home for soldiers. Created ads linking Coca-Cola to military success. Positioned their product as uniquely American. The result? While other companies saw their sugar supplies cut, Coca-Cola received enough sugar to serve every American soldier a Coke for 5 cents, wherever they were in the world. But here's where it gets clever. Coca-Cola convinced the military they needed technical observers, employees in US military uniforms who would ensure soldiers got their Coca-Cola. In reality, these were Coca-Cola salesmen building bottling plants on the government's dime. By war's end, Coca-Cola had built 64 bottling plants across the globe, with the US government covering most of the costs. The military even classified Coca-Cola bottling equipment as technical supplies, giving them the same priority as weapons. But while Coca-Cola wrapped itself in the American flag at home, it was playing a very different game in Nazi Germany. Max Keith, head of Coca-Cola Germany, kept operations running throughout Hitler's regime. His strategy was simple: make Coca-Cola as German as possible. Ads featured swastikas and Nazi imagery. Coke sponsored Hitler Youth events. Billboards showed Wehrmacht soldiers drinking Coke. The company used Nazi slogans in their marketing. When war restrictions cut off the supply of Coca-Cola syrup to Germany, Keith refused to shut down. Instead, he created a new drink using whey, a cheese byproduct, apple fiber from cider presses, beet sugar, whatever fruit scraps were available. This makeshift beverage became Fanta. The strategy worked perfectly. American soldiers spread Coca-Cola globally. German operations continued under Fanta. Post-war profits from both sides went to Coca-Cola. The company emerged stronger than ever. By 1950, Coca-Cola was no longer just an American success story. They had become a multinational corporation with unprecedented global reach. And they learned a valuable lesson. Political allegiance was less important than market expansion. But as Coca-Cola's empire grew, so did its impact on communities around the world. And not everyone would have reason to smile. Because while Coca-Cola was selling happiness, they were about to leave a trail of destruction that no amount of advertising could hide. To truly understand Coca-Cola's global impact, we need to follow the trail of their empire across 3 continents, where their pursuit of profit left communities forever changed. Plachimada, Kerala, India. Once a thriving agricultural community, everything changed when Coca-Cola opened a bottling plant in 2000. Within months, locals noticed something disturbing. Each day, the plant extracted up to 1.5 million liters of groundwater. But this wasn't just about quantity. Water levels in local wells dropped dramatically. Remaining water became contaminated. Agricultural yields plummeted. Local drinking water turned unfit for consumption.
When we bathe, our heads swim. It pains and we scratch all over.
The water started tasting different. Our crops began to fail.
Independent testing revealed something shocking. Cadmium levels 200% above safe limits, lead levels exceeding safety standards, high concentrations of chromium, dangerous levels of other heavy metals. But it got worse. Coca Cola had been distributing their waste sludge to local farmers, claiming it was free fertilizer. Tests showed this sludge contained dangerous levels of toxic metals that were poisoning the soil. Similar stories emerged across India. Mediganj, groundwater levels dropped 7.9 meters. Kaladera, water table fell 3.6 meters annually. Varanasi, local wells dried up completely. But while India fought for its water, another darker story was unfolding in South America. Since 1989, something terrifying has been happening at Coca-Cola's Colombian bottling plants. Union leaders began disappearing, workers received death threats, and then the killings started. Union leaders at Coca-Cola bottling plants in Colombia faced systematic intimidation, including death threats against them and their families. Several documented cases, murder of which one specific case stood out. In 1996, Isidro Gil, a union negotiator, was killed inside the bottling plant premises. Documented cases include 1996, 2 union leaders murdered inside the bottling plant. 1999, union negotiator kidnapped and tortured. 2001, union leader shot dead in front of his 15-year-old son. 2002, 5 more union members killed. In 2001, something unprecedented happened. The International Labor Rights Fund filed a landmark lawsuit against the Coca-Cola bottlers. They allege that Coca-Cola bottlers hired paramilitary forces as death squads. Union leaders were systematically targeted. Company officials aided and abetted murders. Intimidation was used to crush union activity. This wasn't isolated to one plant. Similar reports emerged from multiple Coca-Cola facilities across Colombia, creating a pattern that caught international attention. While Coca-Cola denied direct involvement, the pattern of violence against union organizers raised serious questions about worker safety and rights. The pattern repeated in Guatemala. Workers earned $15 for 15-hour shifts. Union organizers faced death threats. Family members were kidnapped. Multiple union leaders murdered. But while these communities fought for basic rights, Coca-Cola was fighting a different battle, one for public opinion. As health concerns about sugary drinks grew, Coca-Cola developed a new strategy: fund scientists to shift the blame. They created the Global Energy Balance Network, which promoted a simple message: obesity isn't caused by bad diet. Lack of exercise is the real problem. Sugary drinks aren't to blame. Meanwhile, their cradle-to-grave strategy targeted the youngest consumers. Paid schools $3,000 per year for exclusive vending rights. Created toys while claiming they weren't for children. Sponsored youth sports events. Integrated product placement in family entertainment. And the environmental cost? World's largest plastic polluter for 5 consecutive years. Produces over 120 billion plastic bottles annually. Uses enough water to serve the world's drinking needs for 50 days. Creates more packaging waste than any other company. But here's what makes all of this truly remarkable. None of it seemed to matter to sales, because Coca-Cola had created something more powerful than truth itself. And that power would be tested in what should have been their greatest disaster. (1985). After nearly 100 years of dominance, Coca-Cola faced an unprecedented crisis. Their bitter rival Pepsi had launched a campaign that threatened everything. The numbers were devastating. Coca-Cola's market share dropped from 60% to 24%. Pepsi was winning blind taste tests consistently. Young consumers preferred Pepsi's sweeter taste. Coke was increasingly seen as their parents' drink. In absolute secrecy, Coca-Cola launched Project Kansas. the largest market research project in consumer goods history. 200,000 blind taste tests, $4 million in market research, 30 different formula variations tested, 2 years of development. The results were clear. People preferred a sweeter formula. But what happened next would teach Coca-Cola something profound about human nature. Coca-Cola CEO Roberto Goizueta made the announcement. They were changing the formula that had made them famous. He called it the surest move ever made. Within hours, it became clear how wrong he was. The backlash was unprecedented. 1,500 calls per day to Coca-Cola headquarters, 40,000 letters of protest. Organized protest groups formed nationwide. Coca-Cola's consumer hotline crashed repeatedly. The complaints revealed something fascinating. You've betrayed America. This is like burning the flag. I'm losing faith in America. People weren't angry about a drink. They were mourning an identity. Some people began hoarding cases of old Coke. Others treated their last cans like family heirlooms. Psychiatrists appeared on TV to explain the depth of emotional attachment people had to the original formula. But here's the twist. In blind taste tests, new Coke still beat Pepsi. New Coke beat old Coke. Most people who tried it liked it, yet none of that mattered. After just 79 days, Coca-Cola surrendered. They announced the return of the original formula as Coca-Cola Classic. The response was electric. The celebration was unlike anything seen before for a consumer product. People held parties. News networks interrupted regular programming. The company received 31,600 calls of thanks. Sales immediately skyrocketed. But the real story isn't about New Coke's failure. It's about what this incident revealed about Coca-Cola's true power. Consider these facts. Coca-Cola spent $4 million on the new formula. The crisis generated over $1 billion in free publicity. Sales rose dramatically after the return to Classic Coke. Brand loyalty reached all-time highs. Pepsi's momentum was completely halted. Today, Coca-Cola's empire includes over 200 brands worldwide, sales in all but 2 countries globally, 2 billion servings sold daily, 94% global brand recognition, $43 billion in annual revenue. But more importantly, they learned that their product wasn't really about taste at all. It was about something far more powerful, emotional connection. This reveals the true genius of Coca-Cola's century-long marketing strategy. They haven't just sold us a drink, they've sold us a relationship. One so powerful that we'll defend it even against our own taste preferences. And that power continues today. They remain the world's largest beverage company. Their environmental impact grows yearly. Their political influence extends globally. Their marketing reaches ever younger audiences. But this raises one final crucial question. If Coca-Cola's true product isn't the drink itself, but rather the idea it represents, what exactly are we really buying? The story of Coca-Cola is more than just a business case study. It's a mirror reflecting our own evolution over the past century. Let's put this in perspective. Every single day, 2 billion Coca-Cola products are consumed, 200 million plastic bottles are produced, 300 billion liters of water are used, 5 million kilograms of sugar are sold, $160 million in revenue is generated. But the real numbers aren't on any balance sheet. Depleted water tables, rising obesity rates among children, mountains of plastic in our oceans, union workers who lost their lives, indigenous peoples displaced. Coca-Cola's greatest achievement isn't creating a popular drink. It's convincing us to ignore environmental damage while celebrating their green initiatives, accept their role in the obesity epidemic while they sponsor sporting events, overlook their labor practices while they preach happiness, trust their corporate message while they fund contradicting science. So what can we do? Here are specific steps. 1. Personal choices. Reduce or eliminate consumption of their products. Choose local and environmentally conscious alternatives. Use reusable water bottles. Educate others about these issues. 2. Community action. Support water rights initiatives. Back local businesses over global corporations. Protest exclusive contracts in schools. Demand transparency from corporations. 3. Global impact. Share this information. Support environmental legislation. Back worker rights globally. Demand corporate accountability. If this video has changed your perspective, 1. Hit subscribe and the notification bell. 2. Share this video with others who should know. 3. Join our community of informed citizens. Together, we can make better choices for our world. Stay informed, stay aware, make conscious choices.